A lot of us want all these things. We want all these materialistic things. We want the house, we want the car, we want the body, we want the girl. If you were just given these things, if you were just given the perfect woman, the the perfect car you wanted, the perfect body, it wouldn't it wouldn't fulfill you. We need to cultivate it internally first. This really starts to make sense. I feel like a great example is having a great body. Imagine if someone just gave you a great body with no hard work behind it. You know what? You wouldn't even be able to you wouldn't be able to walk around properly. You would stand all weird. You would everything would be wrong. You wouldn't even know how to interact with people if someone just gave you a great body with you putting no work into it. It goes back to being able to cultivate these things internally before they materialize externally in the real world. You have to really cultivate all these things internally first. You have to believe that you can be in shape. You have to believe that you can get to the next level with whatever that is in life. And it all comes from cultivating internal worth first. The only way out is in. You really have to do a lot of searching for what you actually want. Do you actually want an amazing physique? Do you actually want a business on your back? Do you actually want all of these things that are external? And the only way to really know if you want these things is dive internally. Dive internally first, so then you can figure out what you can manifest externally. And it's crazy, guys. This stuff really is real. A lot of the time lately, I've been talking with people about, you could say alchemy, manifestation, these certain laws of the universe. And a lot of people think that it's just talk and that it's not real. But once you really get in tune with natural states, when you should start understanding how the universe works on frequencies, energies, and vibrations, you start to realize that this world that we live in is a lot more, I like to say, complex than people make it. There's an abundance of everything. There's an abundance of money, if you want that. There's abundance of love. There's an abundance of energy, attraction, everything you want. It's all here. This world is an amazing place. But the thing is everything that you want, you need to, like I said, dive internally first before it becomes external. Because the only way to use these laws of the universe, let's say the law of attraction, the only way to manifest, I feel like manifesting and the law of attraction go together very well. Because you use the law of attraction to manifest things into real life. The only way that you can actually do these processes is if you actually believe it fully. Not I want to materialize, manifest a really good physique, and then a couple days later you're not thinking about that. Or you're like, well, yeah, I wanted a really good physique, but it's difficult to diet properly, work out on a specific time every day, whatever the plan is for you. But that's where the law of attraction, the ability to manifest, spills out, where it doesn't come to fruition, because you have to have full conviction. You have to have full belief. And if you have any subtle breakaway from your belief, then it will not come to fruition. You have to be completely honest with yourself about what you want externally. And you have to dive internally, like I said. Because once you dive internally, you'll know what you actually want. You'll know if you actually want to get to the next level. You'll know if you actually want to develop a better body. You'll know if you actually want to even pursue building a business that's going to be a lot more work on your back. You know, filming a video. You have to ask yourself, is this what I really want? Do I want to sacrifice time now for the future? Or do I want to just get caught up in consuming? There's two options nowadays. You can either consume or produce. And I dove internally and said, I need to be producing. All the consumption has destroyed me, destroyed everything I stood for. The moment I started producing, whether that's using the body that the universe has given you to create and unlock the full potential that your body holds within you, once I started doing that, I started to get higher levels of energy. I started to get higher levels of confidence. You know, these laws of the universe, the law of character, the law of attraction, the law of detachment, all these things started actually working. Once I dove internally and I realized that I knew exactly what I needed to do the whole time. Everything else is a distraction. The cultural constructs we fall into, you know, a lot of young people in my age range, you know, 21 to 25 years old, we get stuck in other people's ideas, other people's goals. You know, if people got a plan to go out on the weekend, you might get stuck and pulled into that. But you have to dive internally to figure out if this is something you want to do. You know, do you want to build? Do you want to produce content, workouts to produce a better body? Or do you want to consume? Sit on the couch, scroll on Instagram, scroll on Reels, scroll on TikTok, scroll on YouTube, whatever. I think it really comes down to almost flipping reality. You have to enter the state where, like I said, diving internally and asking yourself, who would I be if I stopped consuming and started producing every day? Who would I be if I tapped into this reality where I never miss a day at the gym? Who would I be if I tapped into this reality where my diet is on point every day and I never miss on that and I never give into pleasure? Like, who would I be if I was purpose driven over pleasure driven every single day for years? And you know, that really comes from this internal discovery. And the reality is that you can't really have internal discovery if you don't spend enough time alone, enough time figuring out if you actually want to become something like purpose driven over pleasure driven. You know, these things, they don't just happen. You have to spend the time to figure out if this is something you want to do. Because you could spend all your time by yourself figuring out what you need to do, where you want to go in life, and maybe that's not the path for you. You know, maybe you do enjoy pleasureful acts more than purpose-driven acts, and I completely understand that. You know, the path of purpose is a difficult one. The path of pleasure, obviously, you know, both go hand in hand. You know, there's pros and cons to both sides, but if you dive internally, whether you want to go down that path or this path, you will figure it out. What we wish to get externally must first be cultivated internally. Let's go.